today's video, we are going to be rebuilding the fresh and new LA Chargers. With no more Austin Ekeler, Mike Williams, and trading franchise legend Keenan Allen for a bag of chips, the Chargers need to find Justin Herbert some new weapons ASAP. And as we develop Ladd McConkey into just that, we draft some incredible talents in a rebuild that features multiple MVP seasons from Justin Herbert in an all-time AFC Championship game matchup. That all means nothing if we can't rack up the Super Bowls and achieve dynasty status. Let's get in. So the first thing that begins the Harbaugh era here in Los Angeles is the 2024 NFL Draft. I think they did a really good job. Maybe they didn't get the big splash at wide receiver they wanted at pick 5, but they went out and arguably got the most pro-ready prospect in the entire draft in Joe Alt. Franchise tackle to pair him with Rashawn Slater, building through the trenches, that old school team building mentality. I think, at worst, the fans may hate it. Justin Herbert's going to love it. Got a great wide receiver over in Ladd McConkey, arguably the best route runner in this year's draft class. Drew a lot of comparisons to Garrett Wilson, the wide receiver that dominated and got Offensive Rookie of the Year for the Jets out of Ohio State. McConkey going to have massive shoes to fill, as essentially he should be viewed as the Keenan Allen replacement. It was inevitable that Harbaugh was going to try to bring some of his national title winning Wolverines with him, and the first rich investment from that squad was Junior Colson, the star linebacker for the University of Michigan. Makes sense. They moved on from Eric Kendricks, and there is a wide open door for the new leader of the middle of that defense. And it's fair to assume Colson's going to take that role on sooner than later. Couple all right picks here, kind of on the defensive side of the ball. They got Brendan Rice. That could be something, but the best value pick here, arguably, is in the 5th round. Kamani Vidal, the running back out of Troy, rolled with a hidden dev trait. And when you look at the running back room for the Chargers, no more Austin Ekeler. It's really wide open. They got J.K. Dobbins on a rental, Gus Edwards on a rental, Isaiah Spiller trying to figure it out. And Vidal, with that dev trait, might have an inside track to getting more reps early on in this rookie campaign. We get a nice little mentorship scenario. Corey Linsley, who I don't know if he's actually going to even make the day one roster. I kind of hope so, but he wants to work with Joe Alt, the 1st round pick. So that is going to be a very nice XP boost for a player that absolutely doesn't need it, because Joe Alt's 77 overall as a rookie, about as good as it gets. Take a look at the roster for the first year of the Harbaugh era. Not a lot of crazy changes on the offensive side of the ball. Everything is going to go through and live and die on the arm of Justin Herbert, who is talent-wise, I think, top 5. Has he played up to his talent level? Has it been him? Has it been the circumstance? I'll leave that to you to decide. But at minimum, you got to consider him still a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Maybe, slight concern that the weapons around him aren't quite where they need to be for him to go and compete and to go toe-to-toe with the Patrick Mahomes of the world, with the Joe Burrows of the world. Josh Allen, kind of a similar situation, lost a lot in the skill position spots. But we're just going to need these guys to step up. I'm going to give Vidal the inside track to start. Just because Dobbins and Edwards are on 1-year deals, we might be able to grow and develop Vidal into a really nice running back for us. We got the Canadian Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnson looking to bounce back after a bust-ish first rookie campaign. But I do think in the slot, Ladd McConkey is going to absolutely thrive here in this system and be a go-to target for Justin Herbert. I'm going to give Disley the inside track to start at tight end. I move Rashawn Slater from left tackle to right tackle. Just traditionally, he is a little bit undersized for a tackle spot, so put him there at right tackle. We saw your Lindsey, Johnson, and Joe Alt, which, as far as upside is concerned, Slater, Johnson, and Alt, I think they might be able to go the full 10 years in this rebuild. So look at the defense. Let me explain myself. Clearly, the Chargers are a 3-4 team. And I'm going to say this now, and I'm probably going to say it every time we do a 10-year rebuild of a team with a 3-4 defense. 3-4 defense is glitched and bugged in Madden 24 and has not been fixed. I can't properly explain it, but when you're in a 3-4, it's like literally your players are all out of position and you never get your 3-4 defensive ends on the field, and your nose tackle is your D tackle too. It's literally super confusing. I had someone reach out, tell me about it on Twitter, and then I went in a little bit of a deep dive, saw it all over Reddit. It's just probably one of those bugs where they just didn't give a shit. They weren't going to fix it in time. So anytime there's a team that's a 3-4, it's broken. I can't work with a broken scheme, so I'm going to have to revert them into a 4-3 defense. And going to a 4-3 defense, we got Bosa and Mack on the outside. Poona Ford was kind of the big signing, if you will, on the interior here for the Chargers, who are definitely a little bit salary cap strapped. for this free agency spot. We got Tuli Pelotu's kind of the odd man out, but clearly a lot of upside. And, you know, the assumption is Khalil Mack's not going to last a particularly long time in this rebuild, even though he's playing at a very high level. And I also don't necessarily think we're in a fire sale mode. Because if this was an all-out rebuild, I'd probably be shipping both him and Bosa. I don't want to upset Charger fans. I think Bosa's, pretty overrated. I'm not going to say he's super overrated, but let's be honest, I feel like his reputation and maybe Madden popularity doesn't line up exactly the production you've been able to get out of him the last couple seasons. But when he's on, he can be a game wrecker. Don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. But I think I want to try to keep this as realistic as possible, and I don't think the Chargers are going to be in a fire sale mode on the defensive side of the ball like they were offensively when they moved on from Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. However, if our record kind of is butt cheeks at the midway point and we're not competitive year one, then we might be able to pivot a little bit. But yeah, Colson's going to start. We got Henley there. Gilman they brought back. He's had a little bit of a breakout from, special teamer into a legit starter. Derwin James, when healthy, is an absolute monster. I'm worried about the corner room, though. Fulton was signed as like a 1 year, kind of bounced around, had some hype when he was coming out of LSU. You got us, obviously, Sunday Samuel Jr.'s a dog, but this corner room, you got Desir Taylor, another Canadian, and Leonard. They got Cam Hart out of Notre Dame in the draft. It's... if we do decide to trade one of these edge rushers, if things aren't going well, if I can't get the picks I want in return, maybe we can find a depth corner that could potentially grow into a starter for us. But as it stands right now, here's kind of how I'm rocking and rolling with it. We're going to have Tui Pelotu, Bosa, and Khalil Mack in the subset. I'm putting JT Woods, big-time athlete out of Baylor, in the slot. Colson and Headley sub-linebacker. McConkey in the slot. Dobbins is third down running back. And Vidal as our power back. Here in year one, let's get it. Now, coming off a Week 3 Player of the Week performance, player that I really think we should be keeping tabs on is Henley, the outside linebacker out of Washington State. Big-time potential and a terrific opportunity for him to grow and develop. I bring that up because coming off our first loss of the season, surprisingly, we got our break speed off us by the Bucs, 41-14. We do have a breakout linebacker, which it could be Henley, and it's not. Henley's playing well, and we get Tui Pelotu, left outside linebacker. I'm going to be honest, after a very impressive rookie season, surprised he is still a normal dev. Thought they would have bumped him up to a star dev. So this is likely well-deserved if he can hit this dev trait scenario. Lose a close one, 1 point. 2-game losing streak. Do we at least get the silver lining? Sure. We'll take that. Hell yeah. All right, we are back here midway point of the season. 5-4, tied for first place in the division with the Kansas City Chiefs. Not bad, even though only one game separates first from last, and ahead of a Week 11 matchup, against the 4-5 Vegas Raiders. We got a breakout scenario for a wide receiver. It is Ladd McConkey, the wide receiver out of Georgia, the rookie. Looking to jump up his depth chart, which is star, I believe. So let's see if we can hit that, and then we'll roll in to some contract negotiations. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Just watched college football 25 reveal. It's going to be a long 2 months of not playing college football. Now that is out. Unfortunately, no dev trait, but we get the win. We'll take it 28-24 as we move atop the AFC West. Now with $62 million of salary cap, you're starting to see maybe the slight benefits of moving on from your Keenan Allens, your Mike Williams, your Austin Ekelers, etc., etc. I'm going to tell you right now, Dicker the kicker. This guy here, that's a lot. I do like him. You know what? We will. I think he's an awesome kicker. He started in Philly, ended up going there. We got a Sunday Samuel. Clearly need to lock him in. You know what? I'm going to give him a 6-year deal so we can keep him till he's 30. Lock him in for the rest of his prime. We got Josh Palmer. Now, this is my Canadian bias coming in, but I also see a player that has his best football ahead of him. So we're going to start 5-year, $47 million, and we're going to lock him in. In my opinion, I think long-term we figure out a real wide receiver one. I don't know. Maybe that will be McConkey. But I do think that Josh Palmer can be a high-level wide receiver, too, for us. So that's kind of where we want to go with it. I think Khalil Mack has been pretty damn good for us. And I'm going to view that it really is like a 2-year rental. So we don't have to worry about an edge rush. And everyone else, best of luck. Man, not the finish we need. We lost 4 in a row. To close, we were 8-5. And I was like, holy shit, we're going to get 12 wins. And that would have put us in the playoffs. We had a top 5 passing offense, top 10 defense overall, lost 4 fucking games in a row to choke the playoffs and finish below 500. Herbert still played well, making the MVP shortlist. Top 5 in passing yards, top 10 in passing touchdowns. 4,100 yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 picks. At minimum, that's going to be good enough to, maintain his superstar dev trait, 400 yards, another 2 touchdowns on top of that. Nice first rookie campaign for Kamani Vidal. Tell you right now, maybe a potential sleeper for your fantasy football leagues. But he had almost 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. Ooh. Runners up. God damn it. In the slot, in that Keenan Allen role, Ladd McConkey crushed it. 83 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns, just under 1,000 for Palmer. Would have been cool to get 2,000-yard receivers with 5 touchdowns. Quentin Johnson, that's a good bounce back for him. After his initial rookie campaign, 50 catches, 900 yards, and 6 touchdowns. As long as he continues to grow and develop off that. Good year from Will Disley as well. Shout out on the defensive side, ageless wonder Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa, both making top 5 for D linemen, thriving in this 4-3. Junior Colson, the rookie, very impressive campaign, 126 tackles with an interception. We got 13 sacks, 16 TFLs. Khalil Mack, 12 sacks, 14 TFLs for Bosa. Tui Pelotu got after with 10 TFLs, 7 sacks. Love to see it. 4 picks for Asante Samuel Jr., 2 for Henley, 2 for Derwin James. Overall, though, pretty good interception numbers. I had to go double check. I thought Colson with those kind of production would be a lot higher in defensive rookie year, if not outright winning it. But, top 5, I guess, is something to hold your hat on. We started the offseason with a pretty substantial retirement as Corey Lindsey retires, and he was what, like an 88 starting center? Damn. This will be the only time we cheer for the 49ers in this situation, as I don't want any team ever, when I'm doing a rebuild within my own division, to win a Super Bowl. So luckily the Chiefs get trumped here by the Niners. Maybe surprisingly, as far as dev traits are concerned, on the offensive side of the ball, I thought Ladd might have had a shot. Wasn't 100% banking on it. Will Disley is the only player on our offense to go up a dev trait, making the jump from normal to a star. And as part of our hidden devs, Vidal, McConkey, and Joe Alt, all-star devs. On the defensive side, we get a little bit of regression here. I think it's an age thing with Khalil Mack. I mean, he's 34. It's just kind of what happens, even if you're playing at a high level. It's father time. But outside of that, we have Asante Samuel making the jump from star up to a superstar. And we obviously, in season, hit the dev trait for Tui Pelotu, Derwin James, Joey Bosa, maintain their dev traits, and the rookie linebacker, Junior Colson, makes the jump up from normal to a star dev. We'll start the offseason with a trade. Trey Pipkins, 73, only 28 years old, somewhat a serviceable player. The top need for the Texans was right tackle, so we're able to kind of take them to town a little bit here and get a 4th-round pick for our backup tackle. For free agency, nothing too crazy. I like our salary cap where it's at. There's not a lot of big free agents. I think we're going to do our damage during the draft and we target some of those big-time Michigan Wolverines are there with the Harbaugh connection. That's kind of where I went in free agency as well. We need a center. We'll clap for the memes in case that's all we can get. As far as our signings, 2 Michigan Wolverines. We got Khalil Hudson, who is versatile, kind of that safety hybrid linebacker. And we got Ambry Thomas, who might actually have an honest opportunity to start for us at corner next year, depending on how this draft goes. So looking at the final mock draft, we got Wolverines galore here in the first round. We are currently projected to get Will Johnson, top 5 corner, absolute dog. Would love that, arguably top corner in the nation. Colson Loveland. I mean, all the top Wolverines are at positions of need for us. I would go Loveland if we need to. Will Johnson probably is pound for pound, but we also need help in the interior of our offensive line, our defensive line, sorry. And that's where Mason Graham would come in and be an absolute beast. But I'll say right now, if the first round kind of goes this way, I'll be very happy walking away with Will Johnson. So we're going to sit and wait, trust the mock draft to go in the order that it was right. And at pick 13, ooh, Luther Burden still being on the board certainly is a very tough pass. But with the Michigan connections, with also the fact that arguably corner 2 is the biggest need that we need to fix on our team, we're going to run this up to the podium. Will Johnson, welcome to LA. Our next biggest needs for a squad here. We do need a starting center. We do need a starting defensive tackle. Those would probably be the next area that I would like to go. And as far as like just looking at the bubble of interior linemen are concerned, I mean, Brailsford is a dog. But you know, right guard that might be able to play center, not really. You got to look at defensive tackle, and I'm looking at Kenneth Grant. I know it's the Michigan ties, but he's the nose tackle. We've used Hutmacher a couple times already in the rebuild, so if I was pivoting to a fresh nose tackle option, it would be Kenneth Grant. But I honestly think with this amount of D tackles still in front of him, this could be a situation where we sit and wait. He might be there in the 3rd round, and we're aggressive, and we trade up. Donovan Edwards still be on the board. Another interesting Michigan pick. Cover athlete. Cover athlete is college football, but, I mean, that would absolutely waste Vidal, and that would just be, an excessive Michigan pick. So, you look at the best players available. We could double. We need 2 D tackles. So Farmer, Zane Durant here. Interesting picks. Evan Stewart could be BPA. Ethan Burke. Yeah, Marion Walker at corner. Another Michigan Wolverine. Burke would be. I think Burke's a smarter call because how many more years of Khalil Mack do we have left? There's our successor in place for Khalil Mack. But then you could also say, is that what, Tui Pelotu is going to be? I think we go BPA here. I think we get the successor for 34-year-old Khalil Mack. Pretty sure there's a dev trade here. And then we'll be patient on the D tackle and trade up when we need to, if we have to. All right, to move up about 5 spots in the 3rd round with the Raiders. I send them a 5th round pick this year, which is fine because we have 2 5th round picks. We also have 2 4th round picks coming up. So we got a couple selections we can hopefully hammer home. But the run on defensive tackles has got close enough that I would want to trade up and get our guy, Kenneth Grant, who is kind of like the poor man's Deion Walker. You're going to hear about Deion Walker a lot. Kentucky, built like a nose tackle and give you some pass rush. I think you get a little bit of that in Kenneth Grant here as well. Hit it, Dev. Let's go. Another Wolverine. Ooh, 5th round. We got ourselves a value. Tacario Davis, the big 6'4" corner from Arizona. Big time, arguably top 3 DB in, are they still in the Pac-12? It's still fair to call them that. Is Arizona still even in there? They moved? Wherever Arizona resides. Tacario Davis is going to be one of the top returning corners in college football this year. Ooh, another late round dev trade. Holden Stays. I believe he's a transfer from Notre Dame. Hell yeah. So take a look at our draft recap. And by my standards, for my draft classes, a lot of dev traits than what we would usually get. Will Johnson at pick 13, falling into our lap, 79, hidden dev. We went Ethan Burke, successor for Khalil Mack, 74, hidden dev. Nose tackle, another Michigan Wolverine. We got Kenneth Grant, 71. He's going to be a day 1 starter for us, hidden dev. Then we tried to just kind of go with the best interior lineman available to potentially kick inside to center. We got Cam Dewberry from A&M, 70 normal. Got another Wolverine here, Derek Moore, 6'7" pass rush. Tacario Davis, the big 6'4" corner, 69 with a hidden dev trade. We got Travion Henderson, who Harbaugh saw a lot of in college. Brought him in to be part of the rotation. Stays the value, 74, hidden dev tight end in the 6th round. I might have to play him ahead of Will Dissly, honestly. And then we finish up with Miller Moss to come in and be a developmental backup quarterback. But an outstanding draft here from Harbaugh and company. All right, we got Will Johnson here, 1st round pick, running the Keith Taylor drill. For those of you that don't know, this is a drill that Keith Taylor would almost always get gold medals. Multiple interceptions, the best to ever do it. And we're going to see what Will Johnson can do. Battle of former 1st round picks. And this could be a good opportunity for Quentin Johnston. If you can go up against this hype corner. I mean, he's still trying to find his way. He's trying to get his breakup, but that'd be a hell of a confidence boost if he can come out on the stronger end of this. But it is not looking particularly good as Justin Herbert has apparently found his new wide receiver 1 here in Will Johnson. As we are absolutely crushing it. Gold medal. I can tell you right now, Will Johnson has put in the work this offseason with Keith Taylor. Go to the Keith Taylor School of Hard Knocks. And he told him how to run this drill. How to lock down this drill. Yeah, you're going to try to beat us with speed? Yeah, right. Give me the timer. I don't know if we've ever... I mean, we might be able to set a record here. Damn. And they cheese it on the end. They don't even follow the route. Hell yeah. That is how you make a debut in training camp to say, I am corner 1. Put some pressure on Asante Samuel because I'm coming for that corner 1 spot. Will Johnson. So, in my point of view, number 2, not bad. I mean, we're always probably going to be chasing the Chiefs for the majority of these 10 years, and that's very much the situation here in year 2. But 5-2 is still a really good spot for the Chargers to be at. Looking at some contracts here. I think Rashawn Slater's a big one. Yes, sir. We got Bosa. Ooh, okay. We got some guys that we definitely need to look at. I'll tell you right now, leaning towards not picking up a 5th-year option for Quentin Johnson. Canadian there. Can't show my Canadian bias. Sawyer's been, solid, honestly. Not brutal. I think if he's interested, that 2-year deal ain't that bad. We'll see how his development is at the end of that 2-year. Gilman's been solid, and I think the fact that at 27 he's just looking for a 3-year deal, why not? Keep you for the remainder of your prime. His ceiling might be 85. Now here's where we're going to make some tough decisions. I think you got to pay Slater. I hate paying linemen, though, because those are the contracts that really come back to bite you in the ass. But, if he wants to take a 5-year, 111, maybe that contract will age gracefully. Joey Bosa, we've done our due diligence, I think, remaining strong in the trenches. We've drafted well. We got 2 guys waiting in the wings in Tui Pelotu and Ethan Burke. But I do think you can get versatile with Joey Bosa. We can play him as sub-D tackle. Obviously, he can stand up and play defensive end. So I think there's some versatility there. And, with the idea that Khalil Mack's not going to be around much longer, let's keep at least one veteran presence in our pass rush. Ooh, double hitter week 11. We beat the Chiefs in the sim with a player of the week performance from Justin Herbert. 3-touchdown performance. I did have the pick, but almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns against the Chiefs in the sim. Hell yeah, very much deserving of a player of the week performance. And we have a breakout linebacker. And it is for Tui Tuipulotu, who's kind of playing out of position here a little bit. But he hit his depth trait last season. Now he's trying to make the jump up to superstar. We follow up with another weekly performance. Week 12, 28-24, close one with Asante Samuel Jr. getting a pick 6 and recognized as AFC Defensive Player of the Week. But how did our boy Tuipulotu do? Tough to make the jump from star to superstar. Damn, unfortunately missed. Week 17, we got a 6-touchdown performance, 400 yards for Justin Herbert in a win over the Dolphins, a shootout. And we are killing it this year. We have a chance. If we could sweep the Chiefs, we would move and win the AFC West. And the 1 seed, let's go! Justin Herbert balled out this year, and honestly, I think he got slighted, only being 4th in the MVP race, considering we were the 1 seed in the AFC. We were 30 yards first in touchdowns. So we were better than Mahomes. We were better than Lamar, yet they went ahead of us in the MVP voting. But that is what we need to see out of Justin Herbert. 4,300 yards, 41 touchdowns, 4 picks. Also chipped in with another almost 400 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. Hell of a year to Vidal. 1,400 yards, 16 touchdowns for the late round pick of the 2024 draft out of Troy. Our other 2 award winners of the year on the offense. Holden Stays, mid-round tight end pick at a Tennessee wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. And we get wide receiver of the year for Ladd McConkey. Hey, look at the numbers for McConkey. 95 catches, 1,300 yards, 13 touchdowns. It's going to get redundant, but he is the Keenan Allen type player that we need, and he is performing like it. Quentin Johnson continues to evolve his game. 953 and 10. 8-8 for Josh Palmer. 8-8 for Stays. And rounding up on the defensive side of the ball, Junior Colson, tackle machine at 125. We got 13.5 sacks from the ageless wonder Khalil Mack. 13 sacks, Tui Pelotu. 12.5 from Joey Bosa. 8 from Kenneth Grant. Ethan Burke as a rotational player, not brutal as well, getting 10 combined, plays behind the line of scrimmage. As a rotational guy, we'll take that every day of the week. And shout out to Asante Samuel Jr. has been an absolute ball hawk with his 5 picks, 2 for Derwin and 2 for the first-round pick, Will Johnson. Who, by the way, superstar dev. We are the big bad Chargers this year, and how many times since I've been a football fan have the Chargers, this has been a common occurrence. They roll it in as a dominant regular season team. They fall apart in the playoffs. We have the number 3 offense, number 1 defense. Wouldn't be shocked if we're 1 and done, just because I do think the Chargers are a cursed organization. But we're able to handle business and get 1 playoff victory. Our first victory of the Harbaugh era. Will Johnson, the rookie, with a big forced fumble, 9 tackle performance, which is probably not ridiculous, but happy that he is doing well. And it sets up what is likely not going to be the last time we have to face the Chiefs in the playoffs. So we're going to show them the respect they deserve by auto-upgrading our players here. A couple guys in the secondary, hopefully to up their game to shut down Patrick Mahomes and an elite passing offense. The number 3 offense, you look at Kansas City, they have the number 1 offense. We have the number 1 defense. They have the number 4. I mean, these are, arguably, this is the Super Bowl. I don't think if we can get past them somehow and shock the world and get a year 2 Super Bowl appearance, we're going to be the favorites. And we do, 31. We beat the Chiefs 3 times in the SIP. That piece of shit, Rashee Rice, kind of went nuclear against us. But the late round, Tacario Davis, the 6'4" Arizona corner, 3 tackles and a pick, being our underrated hero as Justin Herbert and the Chargers and Harbaugh has found a way to go to the Super Bowl. And obviously, when we do these rebuilds, we don't go with live rosters. We kind of just sim the draft out and make sure whatever team we're rebuilding is accurate. Well, take a look at who the Seahawks quarterback is. What if he has any connection to Harbaugh? What if Harbaugh knows how he's going to play? We say this series is a dynasty. We need to get 3 Super Bowls. So the fact that we have an opportunity year 2 to get that early one in, very important. And I mean, we got a lot of win now players. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James. Those are win now players. Those are, I mean, hell, you might even want to say Justin Herbert's a win now player right now. He's what, 26, 27? So a great opportunity here. We'd love to not have to hop in. We'd love to just see our team handle business. They are not better than us. We have built not necessarily a super team. We get the turnover there. Man, oh man. How do we have 2 red zone possessions in the first half, and all we have to show for it is 3 points and a deficit in the first half? That is brutal. We get a touchdown late. And the Seahawks get a field goal late. Trading field goals, instant touchdown for Seattle. We are, again, it's year 2 of a 10-year rebuild. So to say that we're ahead of schedule would be an understatement. We get the touchdown, tied up 20. We get the instant touchdown to go up 27-20. And a 4th down turnover. We start on the red zone here. Oh, yeah, quick 2 touchdowns. Garbage time score for Seattle. But it is a year 2. And hey, let's be honest. As we go 3-0 in this playoff run, as we get Super Bowl win versus Seattle. I think it's more surprising in the context of the roulette. Seattle made a Super Bowl over us. The Chargers don't hire Jim Harbaugh to completely tear down this team and to fire sale it and to go for rebuild. You hire Harbaugh because you think that you have a quarterback, a Super Bowl caliber quarterback. You think that he is going to be able to manufacture the rest of the things to make this team competitive early on. I don't think any Charger fan has expectations that they're not going to be a playoff contender this year, even with the massive turnover at wide receiver. So a year 2 Super Bowl for the Chargers is not ridiculous. Hell, it is definitely ahead of schedule. I thought we'd be competing probably year 4. So we are ahead on that front, but I think it's in the context of what we just saw. Seattle making the Super Bowl is more ridiculous than the Chargers win the Super Bowl. And we'll give credit where credit is due. J.J. McCarthy arguably outplayed Justin Herbert. But Harbaugh knew what he needed to get done. He knew how to set up his defense. He knew to make this game a shootout, and McCarthy wouldn't be able to hang. If we're looking at who's getting the MVP here, I mean, full kudos to Isaiah Spiller with a 72-yard touchdown run. Vidal, 75, stays the rookie tight end, getting 92 yards of the sim. Josh Palmer, the Canadian, with the touchdown. I mean, I don't know who you're giving. Khalil Mack, a sack, and a TFL. Henley, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, Vidal, maybe? I don't know. We were right. The odds about it. MVP gives it to Kimani Vidal. To start the offseason, as we said earlier, we are not picking up the 5th-year option for Quentin Johnson. Now, that's not to say that we aren't going to re-sign him. I'm just not paying him $24 million. In a free agent this year, the interest is there. I just can't do it. Now's not the time. There will be a time. There will be a rebuild. Right time, right place to go get Micah Parsons. But that's going to have to be when we don't have a franchise quarterback contract already on the books. One of these days, we're going to get him, though. We'll say we're going to start planning how we want to approach this draft. Didn't go Micah Parsons. Didn't go anywhere in free agency. Loaded starters. I think center could be a position we can find a guy that looks like he might have a dev trait. That's about all we need in terms of just looking at the roster big picture. Looking at who's out of contract. I mean, Henley could be expensive, especially if he gets that weird, like, it's classified as an edge rusher. So we could go there. We could go wide receiver. We could go guard. Khalil Mack. I mean, we already got his successor in place. Probably going to pay Tui Pelotu. Probably going to pay Derwin James. So, I mean, we're not getting a whole lot more clarity for where we want to. I think linebacker is probably a sneaky position to kind of future-proof as well. But, again, you don't really want to invest a first-round pick at linebacker. Again, maybe if BPA's wide receiver as well, maybe we save some money and don't re-sign Quentin Johnson. I don't know. It's interesting. Now, as far as the draft is concerned, in the first round at pick 32 of the 2026 NFL Draft, kind of looking at our needs, wrote them down here. Wide receiver, linebacker, do need a center. Of course, it's one of those years where there's one decent looking center. And even then, doesn't look great. If he's there in the second round, sure. Wide receiver, this is obviously, you make this selection in the idea that you're not going to bring back Quentin Johnson, which, might be better. And Dockery was the one that we scouted just because he was the fast deep threat guy. And I was just concerned because it's, elite speed, but he didn't run the 4.26, 4.24 that you sometimes see. But that looks pretty good. You don't really want to draft a linebacker in the first round if you don't have to. And I wasn't really getting great, value picks. The top linebacker does look pretty decent, if I'm going to be honest with you. Chauncey Bradham. But I just feel like if this is a guy that's available in the second round, when it comes around, we go A-zone coverage, B tackle, B block shed, runs a 4.49, which looks really good. I also scouted the other big-time athletic linebacker that had A-zone coverage, and that is Brandon Pendleton out of West Virginia. Same kind of deal. 4.4. Almost 4.3 speed. I want that guy. So, there you go. Third round. That's guy maybe we overdraft in the second round. But for here in the first, even looking at the safeties, if you don't want to, pay Derwin James, who's set to be out of count, not a great safety class. I'm thinking we don't pay Quentin Johnson. That's hard because, you always want that redemption arc. Maybe we just say screw it and grab the top center. Screw it, we'll do it. We'll get the top center here in the first round. Oh, brutal. I thought you'd get a depth trait for sure. I'm such an idiot. I just took you know what? If he had a depth trait, we wouldn't be complaining. But I did just took a center over an elite speed wide receiver. All right, let's see if the linebacker is still on the board. He is unfortunately gone. So I think we overdraft our just because it's one off, our 4.3 speed linebacker, Pendleton out of West Virginia. Country roads take me home, and we're getting there fast with this 90 acceleration, 91 speed. Hidden dev linebacker. Trainer of the third round to get a future third and seventh from the Colts. My board is shot. And with a Mr. Irrelevant pick, the rare, great kick power punter. Thought there was a shot. There was a hidden dev there. Damn. All right, it's time. I got to go for supper. Got to go pick the kids up. Let's quickly get through this draft recap. And I think we did all right. 73 normal dev center in the first round. Not the best work. But we got a 71 freak athlete linebacker with a dev trait. We got a 72 wide receiver here in the fifth round. Tim Lawton. No dev trait or anything like that, but just solid depth to add to the room. 73 punter. Not a bad draft. Not a great draft. Not a bad draft. Coming out of our bye week here in year 3, sitting atop the AFC West. Not a bad start as we try and defend our Super Bowl crown, at least keeping pace with the great Kansas City Chiefs. We have $94 million of available salary cap, and with that, we need to decide what we're going to do. We absolutely pick up the fifth-year option for Joe Alt. Khalil Mack has been awesome, but there is definitely a point where I think now maybe we look and consider. Ideally, he retires, and then there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But we have young pass rushers in place, and we're not here to do a Legends tour, if you will. And I think, we have another decision we made for a pass rusher that if we pay him, he needs to play. He needs to start. So we're going to go with Tui Pelotu, and we're going to lock him in. I think we go straight 6 seasons. Maybe even 7. Lock him into 3 years. He's been getting great production as a clearly rotational pass rusher, 7.5 sacks, double-digit TFLs. Makes you wonder, as a full-time starter, what kind of player he can do. And obviously a homegrown player here for the Chargers. So we're going to gamble that he is going to justify that payday. We got Zion Johnson, who I still think under $10 million cap hit here for an offensive lineman. Let's lock him in. He's interest out the barn door to stay here and buy into the Harbaugh project. So we got him locked up. Henley, we essentially drafted his replacement with the linebacker. So we're good there. We got some Michigan dogs as well. Quentin Johnson. You know what? I won't rule out wanting to, continue the redemption arc here of Johnson. I want to see where he's at the end of the year. If he's still flirting with 1,000 yards, 7, 8, 9 touchdowns, and is really adding an adequate amount of value to justify $6 to $7 million cap hit over the next 4 or 5 seasons, and really, trying to keep this trio together of McConkey, Palmer, and Johnson, I will do so. But we're going to wait and see. And then obviously we got Derwin James, so we got to make sure he retires a Charger, I guess, at this point. And you know what? I would say if he slows down, wouldn't rule out potentially moving him to linebacker. And it was tight. We get to find out right away who the best team is in the AFC West, but that goes down as our second divisional championship in the first 3 years. We had the tiebreakers over the Chiefs. I believe we actually 2-0'd them in the regular season, which is very impressive, even though Mahomes is still there. Yada, yada, yada. They're still the Chiefs, still worried. Not a great role, especially when you're trying to defend your Super Bowl championship to start with the Chiefs. Justin Herbert finishes in the top 5 of MVP voting. That's kind of like a somewhat similar stat line that he had year 1. Yards are good. Touchdowns are fine. Touchdown-interception ratio is fine. You throw in the rushing numbers. It's not, good. Played good. Top 5 MVP voting, sure. Vidal, even better. 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. Good God. He had a 97-yarder. Of course, CMC going to the Patriots is what can stop him from winning running back of the year. Ooh, couple runners up here. McConkey, runner-up for wide receiver of the year. We have Joey Bosa, runner-up for defensive player of the year. Shout out also Ageless Wonder Khalil Mack making the list. Ooh, lad. 89 catches, 1,300 yards, 12 touchdowns. And Quentin Johnson in a prove-it year. Prove it, and I'll give you a contract, 1,000 yards. I think that's good enough to offer him that contract extension. Palmer was, legit. Stays was legit as well. Even Vidal chipped in with some decent production out of the backfield. However, the big news for this team is on the defensive side of the ball. Colson, a tackle machine, but look at Joey freaking Bosa. We hesitated a little bit when his contract came up. We're like, should we? Should we not? Yes, we should have. And we did. 22 sacks. He won D lineman of the year. We got 19 and 13 from Khalil Mack, 8.5 from Tui Pelotu. Again, rotational player. So we're going to let Mack just please retire, right? Just please retire so that we can just smoothly phase you out and phase in the new pass rushers. Interception numbers down a little bit, but look at what we got. Pendleton, our linebacker, the speedster, the 4-3 guy. Superstar dev. Let's go. That makes up for having a first-round normal dev pick center. All right, Chiefs, either get this over with or outstanding momentum for a playoff run. Kansas City in the... Next. Glowback did not retire. Why are they making these decisions so... I think we just got to let him go. Zone's on the short list, 179 TFLs, 100, and we'll be generous, we'll just round it up to 140 career sacks. I don't really want to let him walk, I'm going to be honest with you, but there almost needs to be a slight, not to disrespect him, but a slight element of, if we put Tui Pelotu in his position with the amount of reps, we'll get similar stat lines. That could be a game that does not pay off. But the vibe check for re-signing Joey Bosa panned out. So maybe we're going to have the same vibe check by, letting Khalil Mack try to Bruce Smith his way into some extra sacks. And we go with Tui Pelotu. We'll get a big update to the dev traits. Stays got his superstar dev last year. I don't know if we recapped that or not. But Herbert X Factor, Kimani Vidal, who's honestly been crushing it. Clearly a talented running back into this scheme and system. You'd like to think Austin Ekeler ceiling. And Austin Ekeler puts up big-time numbers in the Madden Sim. And that is exactly what we're getting out of the 5th-round pick, I believe, 5th or 6th-round pick out of Troy, hitting his superstar X Factor. And to pile on what was a very good draft class, I mean, Joe Alt probably go up dev trait if Lyman could go up dev trait. But Lad McConkey also up to an X Factor. You'll love to see it. Joey Bosa didn't go up dev. I was confused. I thought maybe it's one of those things where his age, he gets the dev trait, but then he loses it because he's old. He gets sacks leader, D lineman of the year at 32. Nothing. That doesn't move the needle. So as promised, we're going to give it off here to Quentin Johnson. Went over 1,000 yards. We're going to try to lock him in for the remainder of his prime till he's 29. We'll round that up there. 4 years, $34.4 million. Let's go, man. I will give credit where credit's due. I think Harbaugh, he's a locker room. He's a player's coach. I think a lot of guys. I think you're going to see. I think it'll be a common trend. We'll say over the next 2-3 seasons. Wouldn't be shocked if a lot of big name players end up going to the Chargers, buying in to the sales pitch from Harbaugh. I haven't had really any big positions that was worth hitting the open market for, but right now, it's a good year. The Michigan ties, Mozzie Smith, former first-round pick out of Michigan. We do need defensive tackle help, so we're going to bring him in. So sitting here at draft time, going to decide which direction we got to go in the draft. And Sawyer is our starting right guard in the final year of his contract. So if we can get a younger guard sooner than later, that would probably be an ideal. But I mean, those are the guys that I tried to find in the second and third round. Not with the first round pick, but we don't really have a lot of first round needs. You look at the other players that are up for contract extension. Junior Colson with the Michigan ties, probably want to try to keep him. McConkey, arguably one of our best players. I think we'll likely give Joey Bosa like kind of contract to make sure he retires as a Charger. Vidal's an interesting one just because he's up to an X factor. He's thriving, but paying running backs is faux pas. And I clearly think if you told me Colson, McConkey, Bosa, Vidal, who are you paying? Vidal's very much at the end of the list. So I think if the money is there, absolutely, he's been awesome. He's been incredible. But the fact of the matter is, he came here as kind of like a solid running back. Hidden dev, decent stats, and he thrived in our system. I think the logic needs to be, if we could find a good running back in this draft, just keep rolling good rookie contract running backs in this scheme and system, and they are going to thrive. So we'll keep an eye on that as well. There's a couple nice-looking running backs, especially ones I don't have to reach. I think they might be there third, fourth, fifth round. We will see, though, however the draft unfolds. But I'd say running back, guard, interior offensive line, and, kind of keep in mind those other positions just in case contract negotiations go sour. As we wait for pick 23, I also didn't really mention safety. Derwin James getting up there in age a little bit. Gilman's 30, so he's pretty much at his ceiling. Got to get ready for regression. I did focus scout some safeties in this year's draft class. We have Bingham, who has the B zone coverage, which looks pretty good. 5'10", 208. Combine also pretty good. What you're looking for. We focus scouted at strong safety here. Collier, and that's not really what we were looking for. So, I mean, right now, Bingham could be the front runner. There was a center that looked like he was going to be pretty good. Fox has A run block, B pass block, A impact block, B awareness. Is the combine free? Because this is a guy 6'4", 312. Easily could skip the combine. Oh, that is a juicy. Maybe the only reason why you wouldn't, rush to draft him is you got an A pass block center right there. We also have an A pass block guard, Picasso Dunbar. That's a badass name, right? Outright at guard. What if he's there in the third round? Right? I mean, just got options. Another A with Pat McPherson. So I think we pivot on the guard right now. There was a really, really nasty running back. Was it Ricard? A carry? No, there was one that had a really good combine. Cage? I mean, these guys are going to pick a little bit later on anyways. No, it wasn't you. Was it Pierre? This might have been it. Pierre Patterson. Power back out of Iowa. You got three guys there with A's that look pretty good in that range. So I think we pivot here. We future-proof the safety position. We love the B zone coverage here on Zach Bingham. And we get the dev trade. 91 speed, 91 acceleration. Let's go. When are you ever going to see two guys named Picasso in the same draft class? But looking at Dunbar here, he's A pass block, D run block. We have A pass block, C run block. Also A pass block, C run block between McPherson and McKee. I think we'll go with the better combine. Not the best combine there. Slightly better for McKee. Let me give this other Picasso an opportunity. Because if he has an elite combine... Oh, it's not that good. All right. Well, let's go with this guy. Picasso McKee. Great name. Probably a day one starter for us at guard. And with the 6th pick of the 3rd round, I think is when we double back around and look at the running backs here and see if we still have our pool. We have Henry Cage, Harold Cooper, Pierre Patterson. Who is the best option of the three? Henry Cage. We got 4.49, solid speed, great acceleration, great strength. The 3-cone drill, pretty good. Harold Cooper, 6'1", 220, solid speed, decent acceleration, good strength. Pierre Patterson, great, good. I mean, none of these guys, the combines aren't exact, but I think at the end of the day, Pierre Patterson has the better combine for guys, and at 226 pounds, running almost a 4.3. The 3-cone drill is pretty good. I think all these running backs are going to be nice. I think all of them are going to be 74, 75 hidden dev. Hopefully we end up picking the right one here in Pierre Patterson. And now Kamani Vidal might be looking over his shoulder a little bit. I know we're not really in the business of outright BPA. We got 2 D tackles here that are still on the board in the 3rd round. Delonte Duke, 389 pounds. Oh, you want to see way more on the bench press than that. No, thank you. Well, we have an undersized D tackle, and I love me an undersized D tackle with a finesse move. 6'3", 287. All right, welcome to the squad. Don't even need you. Don't know where you're going to play, but that's a badass name of the Florida Gators. Jerry Fairley. Nick Fairley's son. Is he old enough to have a son this old? Maybe. So let's take a look at our draft recap. Feel real good, man. The dev traits early on. I mean, the draft didn't even finish out that bad. I simmed out from the 6 of these 3 guys, all on the CPU, and they all get up the hidden dev. Kier, Sap, hell, yeah. I mean, the CPU helped me out by picking from my favorites, but I just let them, you know, you tab open like 10 guys that look like they could be all right, and I ain't got time for that. So we got some all right picks there. A little bit of a width there, 70, 66 normal on the tight end, but Fairley, 72 hidden dev. Patterson, 76. Look at that, 92 speed, 93 acceleration. You love to see with a dev trait. McKee, 73 with a dev trait, and Bingham, 76 with a dev trait. Very, very strong draft, getting 5 hidden dev players. Ooh, I was kind of looking around the rest of the division. Always do it, and I'll bring up when there's a notable player. We got a big-time running back. They got a big-time running back. We got our big-time running back in the 3rd round. They got a 1st-round running back trying to go the Clyde Edwards-Helaire route. Okay, Broncos got some heavy hitters. 74 running back late and a 78 corner in the 1st round, only normal dev. I love my draft. I'll give credit to the Raiders. They crushed it. They got a late-round running back with value. A 75 D tackle in the 2nd round. 1st round edge rusher. Hell of a draft there from the Raiders. We're off to a decent start here midway of year number 4. 4-2. Chiefs 4 wins. Raiders starting to run away with the division here a little bit. We've been getting trade offers all season long from Mozzie Smith. No thank you. Now looking at our re-signings. We've drafted our Solly replacement, as our budget is starting to get a little tight. Damn. Decisions just... I think Ladd McConkey has been incredible. And he needs to be the first contract that we hand out. We're going to try to go player friendly. We get that one across the line with $21 million remaining. We did just draft a hidden dev running back with the idea that we weren't going to pay a running back. Joey Bosa has been incredible. I literally can't afford to pay him. Hopefully we can pay Colson, which we can. Let's get him. Yeah, sure, till he's 31. $99 million. And he still wants more. Come on, you're Harbaugh's guy. All right, we bumped it up from 6 years 99 to 6 years 101, and we're able to get this one across the line. However, this puts us in a situation where it is going to be the end of Vidal and the end of Joey Bosa here in LA. And unfortunately, I mean, good record, made the playoffs, 11-6, but no divisional title as those god dang Raiders are up there. Look at our rankings, very good offensively, defensively, a top 10 rush defense. Almost top 10 overall defense, but that pass needs to get a little bit tighter. All right, there we go. That's what we needed. That was certainly on the unofficial checklist of what I want to accomplish this rebuild because he gets talked about like he has MVP potential. We needed to get him to play like an MVP. And here in year 4, Justin Herbert, league MVP. And he was 1st in yards, 6th in touchdowns, only 5 picks, chipped in 4-4 on the rushing. And oh my God, look at that running. Vidal played well, and look at over his shoulder. Pierre Patterson absolutely crushed it with 13 rushing touchdowns. Don't know the dev trait, but we're here focused on her. I mean, let's be honest, that's not a crazy MVP. I'm going to assume every other quarterback had a little bit of a down year. Oh, good God. Ladd McConkey, Offensive Player of the Year. Also gets Wide Receiver of the Year. And just while we're here, shout out Cam Dicker, the Kicker of the Year. Ladd went nuclear. 1,600 yards on 88 catches, 19 touchdowns for the 2nd-round pick at the University of Georgia. Almost 1,000 yards from our tight end. Stays 8-2 for Johnson, 7, almost 8-6 for Josh Palmer. Not too bad. Defensively, Junior Colson, a tackle machine. We got 11 sacks, 14 TFLs from Tui Pelotu, 9.5 from Ethan Burke, 8.5 for Bosa. So Bosa is really regressing at the right time for us to move on from him. even though he's been an all-time great. 4 picks, Will Johnson. You'll love to see that. Just because it is his final year. Shout out Joey Bosa. 511 tackles in his career. 131 TFLs. 118 total sacks. Pretty damn good. 15 forced fumbles as well. So the first round of the playoffs. Trying to get back to a Super Bowl. The one win above 500 Tennessee Titans stands in our way of going on a lengthy playoff run. And we got the MVP who fucking didn't show up. 24-17. We get upset. God damn it. How did our MVP play? Fucking terrible. So in closing on year 4, I was curious with the dev trait. Stays makes the jump up from superstar to an X Factor. Patterson, the rookie, X Factor. Let's go. Truz, kind of a dog shit ability. Let's go ahead and give him freight train. That sounds a little bit better. But replacing, we're uncertain. Obviously, Vidal has developed nicely up to a 92 in this scheme, a successor for Austin Ekeler. And we're like, well, maybe we'll go with the rookie. Maybe we'll draft a running back, and hopefully that pays out. And look at that. We got an X Factor 79 running back to succeed him. Herbert and LeConkey, the best wide receiver quarterback duo in the league, even though it unfortunately did not show up in the playoffs. On the defensive side, Joey Bosa, I don't want to say regressing at the right time, but regressing when we can't pay him. So that makes sense. Will Johnson, superstar. Tacario Davis, somehow went up. So how did that happen? At no point did I thought he was like, how? I think that's just your completely RNG one. I did also notice, though, at the top, Derwin James lost his X Factor down to a superstar, probably age-related. All right, so it is draft time. And I've kind of identified 3. Our needs, again, are tied to future-proofing the roster. Look at the players that are going to be out of contract next year. There's 3 big ones that if our salary cap's tight again, tough decisions he made. One is Joe Alt at left tackle. Obviously, I would like to keep him in. He's part of the first draft class. We have at tight end, Holden Stays up for contract. Just went to X Factor. Would love to keep him. Could be very expensive to keep. And I think much like running back, does feel like if we can get a solid tight end, they are going to perform in our system and scheme. And then D tackle is the other one, as Kenneth Grant, our current starting D tackle, is also set to expire. We have a little bit more depth at D tackle, so that's a little bit of lesser need. I kind of knew what was going on, so I set my focus scouting for tight ends. Unfortunately, the first round tight end didn't look anything crazy, not a single A, but I did end up focus scouting James Patton, and it's very simple. He had a run block. An A run block is usually a tell that they're going to be a good player. He also didn't attend the combine, which in older Maddens, that meant this guy was going to be like a superstar X Factor, all that stuff, even before there were superstar X Factors. So he looks like outstanding value. That is a day 3 pick. We kind of wait there. So when it comes time to look at the offensive tackles, didn't get the best role. Didn't get a brutal role. I mean, there's some guys here that look solid. I still think the big picture plan is to re-sign Joe Alt. But you get Deshaun Black here as a pass block. That's 3rd, 4th round. He's obviously a guard with size that can translate outside at tackle. This center looks ridiculous, but we just don't need a center right now. We're pretty good at that spot. Hunt looks all right, but I mean, we're not really seeing a guy that's like scream, come draft me. So I was kind of looking at D tackles, and the strength of this class isn't so much D tackles as it is the 3-4 defensive ends that are out here. And Julius Hazleton kind of stands out. A block shed, A tackle, B power movement. And you're comparing this guy at D tackle, the highest bench press reps. I really do think this needs to be the pick. Best player available, big time athlete, especially for one of these D tackles that's not 287 pounds, 290. That archetype, that prototype of a D. He's bigger than that. He's 310 pounds, and he has 84 acceleration, 75 speed, 93 strength. So while D tackle very much on the lower end of the totem pole of where we want to go in terms of draft needs, we got that value tight end. We'll grab him later. Maybe there'll be a tackle that we can get here in the 2nd round, but I think future-proof in the D tackle spot is important. All right, coming back to the offensive lineman, just seeing who is... Deshaun Black is still there, that A pass block. Man, even that center, like that looked like there's 2 really, really nice centers. We got Clay Carter, a little bit undersized for a tackle at 6'3". How far... Are we getting close to our tight... I almost just think we take the tight end. Because if he's gone, I need the tight end more than I need the tackle, I think. Let's do it. Please have a dev hit. Let's go! 1st round pick, scouting Holds firm. And unique traits is what we're about. This is really the last kind of player on my board that I want to go with. Thad Hayward, 6'5" with A-man A-press. Combine, you almost throw it out the window. You want unique players when you can find them, especially when you're in the area blind picking. Damn. Take a little sneak peek at my draft recap. Yeah, board was shot. Got a couple depth players a little bit later on. Hayward, 6'5", 73. Oh, there's no depth trait. We're fine with that. Patton, the scouting, came through in the second round. A 75 hit it, which gives us insurance in case we can't re-sign. Stays our X factor. And then Hazelton might be a little bit on the low end. However, when we move him to D-tackle, I bet he will jump up. Let's do it here live. I don't know how. I mean, he has a lot of good trade. You know, a lot of times you might just get a +1. I think we might get +2. I think he'd be 76 when all is said and done. 77 hidden depth D-tackle. Let's go. Midway of year 5, and we're looking decent. Everyone at the Broncos is looking decent. There's one win that separates first and third place. And I will say this, looking at our offense, what the hell is going on? Our defense looks good, but our offense, led by reigning, defending MVP Justin Herbert, oh my God, it is not good. The only thing worse than our offense right now is the available salary cap that we have and the players that we need to pay. Like Tacario Davis, we're seeing very much a budget option. How many years we got left? 1, 2, 3, 4. How about that? Let's lock you in for the rest of the rebuild. I don't know if you're going to hold on that superstar dev. I don't even know how he got that superstar dev, to be completely honest with you, but we'll pay him as such. I think Ethan Burke also should get paid. And we'll lock him in, because, I mean, again, that's just, he's only 24 years old, 82. So in what a time he's 29, he's going to be like 92. And a 92 edge rusher that's getting paid $12 million a year, that is going to age well. Now, we knew we weren't going to pay Stays, couldn't pay Stays. That's why we drafted the tight end. We drafted his replacement. Joe Alt's the tough one. Unless something crazy happens, there's just no way that we can afford to pay him. And I guess it goes full credit to the Chargers, because you drafted and developed a tackle that now wants $150 million. So you must have done something right, even if he can't stay here at the team. Luckily for us, the strength of the draft, left tackle, so we're going to set our focus scouting to the tackles to get a Joe Alt replacement, ideally. And then year 5, usually, older rebuilds, our natural final year. We corrected it. Maybe we just went on a bad run of defenses, but we were through halfway. Not a particularly good passing offense. Not a particularly good offense. Didn't really improve the rushing offense too much. But when you shift off of Kamani Vidal, who's been reliable to a first-year starter, it's not going to be perfect right away, and I think it's going to improve and get better. Defense fell off a little bit. So our offense picked it up the second half of the year. Defense was looking like a top 3 team, maybe arguably the best defense in the league. Fell off a little bit, which is unfortunate. But we end up 13-4, back on top of the AFC West. And our resurgence was led by back-to-back MVP performances from Justin Herbert. First in yards, second in touchdowns, 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns, 8 picks, another 400 yards, and 2 tutties on the ground. Nice campaign for Patterson. Our rushing offense wasn't great, but that is really good. Maybe surprisingly, though, outside of the MVP, our only other award winner, Dicker the Kicker. Lad crushed it again, 1,500 yards, 95 catches, 10 touchdowns, 8-2 for Stays, 8-9 for Palmer, was 8-12 from Quentin Johnson. Well, how that happened. Patterson with another 5 touchdowns out of the backfield. Defensively, Colson continues to be a tackle machine. Sacks down a little bit here. 15 TFLs, 12 sacks from Burke. The rookie Hazelton thrived. 10 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks, 8 from Tui Peloto, 11 TFLs. Not brutal. Wouldn't want him to fall much lower than that, but clearly we are missing, the Joey Bosa effect on the defensive side of the ball. Hazelton was our hidden dev player, superstar. Hell yeah, I'll take that, especially because that was a tight pick. The clock was running down, wasn't really sure. Trying to talk out where we should go with the draft. Ended up going D-tackle, and so far, so good. 3 picks. Will Johnson leads the team. With our first round bye, it sets up a divisional matchup against the Houston Texans. Now, we are on 2 straight seasons of being 0-1 in the playoffs, losing our first matchup. You look at Houston, good defense, offense, kind of in the middle of the mall, even though we know they got playmakers, C.J. Stroud and company, and it's a fucking another loss. Love seeing the rookie get player of the week, but god damn it, man. Won the Super Bowl year 2, and then it's been 3 straight lose our first game in the fucking playoffs. I suppose maybe there was a slight chance, holding out hope we get a massive boost in salary cap available at the end of the year to try and extend Joe Alt. Just can't make it happen. All right, so the interesting thing is we go into the first wave of free agency, and magically we now have $31 million of salary cap instead of the 12 originally. So we're going to at least throw an offer on Joe Alt, even if it's not the smartest thing to do. And we're able to keep him, but it's one of those years where, you know, a legitimate shot, his post is still out there, but a legitimate shot at the top 2 players in free agency that are easily the team that, you know, the 2 guys that everyone would go in on were from our squad. Happy to bring back Joe Alt, even though, again, I don't know if that's going to end up being the best decision or not in terms of our salary cap, but hopefully it is, and hopefully we're fine, and hopefully we don't look back at this moment and say we're in year 8 or 9 and we lose everybody because I'm paying a tackle and Justin Herbert 75% of my salary cap, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. For the draft, again, bringing back Joe Alt. We've had a contingency plan in place for tight ends, so we're good. We really don't have any immediate pressing concerns, so that is where you come and look at what these salaries look like next year. Who is looking to get paid? Who do we need to replace? Mozzie Smith, we have depth at D-tackle, not worried about it. Pendleton at linebacker, that could be spicy. Center, Woodward, we have Will Johnson, Derwin James, Josh Palmer, Justin Herbert. So Herbert got to get paid. Off the top of my head, Johnson would be next in line. So I'm going to say linebacker. I'm going to say center. I'm going to say safety, wide receiver. Somewhere in that range, those will be our top targets early on in the draft. All right, so going back to these, wide receiver, center, safety, linebacker. Looking at the wide receivers, I mean, we're at 27, so all the good, you know, you're not really, unless you're going for the guy that ran the fastest 40-yard dash time. You usually get those later. You're not going to get a wide receiver at 27. Looking at the centers. Doesn't look like a particularly elite center class. Doesn't help that I don't have a whole lot of info, but there are 2 first-round centers. That's somewhat uncommon. Maybe if we come back. Linebacker. Well, what do we got for linebacker here? We got a bunch of speed for these linebackers. A-zone coverage. But again, these are guys that you're going to hope that you can get in the second round. Goings looks decent. Fire looks decent. Bullock could be good. Don't know the zone coverage there. You know, on the other side, Brandon Smith looks pretty damn good as well. 8 pursuit, 8. He's third round, so that might be able to get him in the second round. 8 pursuit, 8 zone coverage. Ooh, elite speed, agility, change of direction. I like you a lot. What do we got at safety? Of course, we're not going to get anybody that gives us anything as far as coverage is concerned. Sensational, phenomenal. Got B-Man. I know what we do. We still got multiple years left in this rebuild. We are going to go in here, and we're going to pause this clock, and we're going to trade this pick. I'll tell you right now, we are running this offer. A first and second round pick next year from the Bengals. Absolutely. All right, Brandon Smith is still on the board. I'm very interested. I would maybe even be aggressive in trying to trade up and get him. Jenkins is probably the last draftable center. Combine's very good. It's a blind pick. Wish I knew at least if he had an A in one of those pass block, run block, but we're going to gamble athletically that there will be a depth trait there. Maybe the rating will be a little bit lower than our usual alignment. It could be 71, 72 as opposed to the 74, 76 range that we try to target. But if we can land him and then find a way to get that linebacker Johnson in Brandon Smith in the second round, I think that'd be good business. So the run on linebacker started here in the third round, so we're going to be aggressive and trade up 20 spots, trading a 4th this year and a 4th next year on top of our own third-round pick so that we can go out and get the AA elite speed linebacker, which I don't have the best track record of drafting linebackers, but with my board being where it's at, you know, very slim margins. A in the 2 things I love, elite in the thing I love, he's going to be good. So look at our draft recap. Our first round pick was a future first round and future second round pick. So we have 2 firsts, 2 seconds next year. Especially with our salary cap getting tight, that's pretty dang good. Ratings aren't bad either. Jenkins in the second round, 74 hidden dev at center. Smith, 70, maybe a little bit on the lighter side for a rating, but still a hidden dev trait, and he's just going to be a developmental guy. We got Harvey Wheatley at A&M, 71 running back in the 5th round, providing good value as well, just part of that rotation. Really happy with this draft cast, all things considered. I say, though, we didn't get the best player in the draft. That will go to the Broncos, getting themselves a franchise tackle, Lloyd Weatherford. much as it hates me to do it, anytime someone in our division gets a stud, we got to make known of it. And even though, I mean, we're probably not going to feel the impact of a left tackle, franchise left tackle, hell of a pick by them. All right, not as hot. Coming off our second best record in the full 5-year period, we are now looking at our worst record at the midway point, 4-3. Offensively, crushing it. Defensively, struggling a little bit, especially for an 88 overall defense. Got some really big decisions when it comes to our salary cap. Looks good. We're sitting there with $92 million. An absolute war chest. Can't pay everyone. Gavin Woodward, we just drafted a hidden dev center. We're going to move on there. I like Josh Palmer. I don't know. We just drafted potentially a replacement linebacker. That is cheaper, though, than I thought. Because we had to re-sign Colson. He was a lot of money. But fact of the matter is, we got to pay Herbert and Johnson, and then we're going to have to make a decision with the remaining salary cap. So we got Justin Herbert. There's 4 years left in this rebuild. So I want to lock him in for 4 years, make him do the full thing. And, of course, he's going to give us the runaround here, even though the interest is incredibly high. We're going to get Will Johnson locked in to a 5-year contract. And, look, there goes our salary cap. We're going to get Herbert, whatever it takes. And, damn. I mean, that one stinks with Palmer. I would have been cool to have him run the full rebuild. And it was literally another, $200,000 on salary and bonus to get Herbert to sign on the dotted line. But with $13 million remaining in salary cap, I'm glad that, we drafted a center and linebacker, both hidden devs last year's draft. And hell, this year, probably looking towards wide receiver, which I did set as our focus position for the upcoming draft. And we close out year 6, kind of middle of them all. Offensively, not bad. Not playing like a 95 offense, but is what it is. Defense, also not bad. I don't know what happened with our rush defense. Maybe this is what we need, though. We've been flying high the last couple years and haven't done anything in the playoffs. Maybe the year that we kind of limp in a little bit, that'll be the year we do some damage, starting in the first round here in the wild card against the Bills. We didn't have a single award winner. Justin Herbert, 2 straight MVPs. Stinker! By his standards, under 4,000 yards, under 30 touchdowns. The touchdown-interception ratio is still fine. Patterson, fine year, 1,300 yards, 12 tutties. On the receiving end, McConkey got his to a degree, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns, 9-3 for Patton. 7-7 for Palmer, 7-6 for Johnson. So, what did come true, though, is I was like, we let Stays, the X-Factor tight end. I'm not going to say we just couldn't afford to pay him. Decided not to, spend our money there. And trust that just tight ends will eat in this system. And that's kind of the case here. That is still a really good year for Patton, even though the touchdowns a little bit lower than what we're getting from Stays. Defensively, Colson continues to be a tackle machine. Tuli Pelotu, 21 TFLs, 10 sacks. Fine with that number. Hazleton, fine with that number for a D tackle. Burke, I was fine with that. I think these big three, they're doing a decent job. No prolific pass rushers, nothing crazy like Joey Bosa, but they're doing a decent job. 2 picks for the veteran secondary as well. All right, first round on the Bills. They got Greg Rousseau, who's an absolute monster. We did a Bills rebuild. We know everything about Greg Rousseau. We know that he is an absolute game wrecker. But look at that, the first year that we are not overly optimistic about a run, and we get a playoff win. Justin Herbert, player of the week, with almost 400 yards passing, over 400 yards total. 2 touchdowns, doing it all in a duel between him and Josh Allen, 2 of the top quarterbacks in the AFC. And that sets up, the number 1 offense, number 1 defense comes to town, huh? Well, I know when I'm the number 1 offense, number 1 defense, I lose games like this, so let's go! Why is Madden so predictable? Like, the most predictable thing in Madden is to expect the unexpected. And I kind of hate that, to be honest with you. Tui Pelotu, Defensive Player of the Week, 2 sack performance as we take down these Super Bowl favorites. Good freaking... I mean, we're going through the gauntlet here. Up next doesn't get any easier. The 15-2 Baltimore Ravens, 3rd offense, 4th defense. Can this I don't want to say it's a Cinderella run because we're obviously still in the window, but holy shit! And then we got Dallas! This might be an all-time Junior Colson Defensive Player. This could be an all-time run. To beat the Chiefs, well, the Chiefs are overpowered. First offense, first defense. Then you take on the Ravens, who are almost consensusly the 2nd best team in the AFC from a consistent sim performance standpoint. And then, with an opportunity to win it all, to win the 2nd Super Bowl of this rebuild, we go against the other cheesiest team. Good God, CeeDee Lamb. What a season. 117 catches, 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns, number 4 offense, number 6 defense. Our team has been giant killing this whole playoff run. What's another one standing in our way? And you guys know me, in any context, I don't like losing to the Cowboys. So, We haven't really had to enact our 3 cash-ins yet. I mean, we've only had 1 Super Bowl appearance. Today might very well be that, if this team is struggling. We got 3rd and 2 on 11. We're going to cash on the first one because a touchdown here will put us in the lead. Give us a nice little first half lead. Don't want to pick on that middle linebacker. We have the Canadian Palmer running a slant at the top of the screen. I don't really like it. How about we just get y'all the first down and tiptoe down the sideline? Justin Herbert, sneaky dual threat. That is what we want to see. Opening touchdown of the game goes to the good guys. We turn it over on 4th down. Brutal. Should have just stuck with the sim. Should have just stuck. If you stuck with the bait, what are we kicking a field goal there for, fellas? I bet you if we stuck with the base sim, we would have won this game. But you come into the play of the moments where it's a completely different algorithm, completely different beast. Fuck! Sorry, now, tail of the tape, you're not winning any games where your best 99 wide receiver gets 2 catches for 12 yards. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. So the bad news is on the offensive side of the ball. Justin Herbert, 1 bad year off of 2 straight MVP seasons, probably combined with his age. We lose the X Factor. Jenkins, our top draft pick, hidden dev, just a star. But the good news is on the defensive side, while we did lose a star dev on Fairley, Tuipulotu up to a superstar. Will Johnson up to a superstar X Factor. That's why you pay the man. Give the C on his chest right there. And in the draft, Smith, the linebacker we traded for, superstar dev. I mean, how, you know, we've done real drafts. We've done 4 Madden generated. I think 3 of the 4 we've walked away with at least 1 superstar dev player. And just because he's Canadian and he's been here for a minute and he's about to walk out the door, Josh Palmer, great career with the Chargers, 6,800 yards, 47 tutties. As you can see, we haven't really done much with free agency because it's been this. We've been very much just on the line. Man, if you need a quarterback, get to year 7 of your franchise modes. Jesus Christ. I don't think I've ever seen QBs like that. And then you got, of course, the great Kenny Pickett down there. But anyways, we only got $9 million, so we just got to roll that money over and crush the draft yet again. All right, so we got 2 first-round picks. And you know what I like to do with 2 first-round picks? Not too often do I just want to stay put. Now, unfortunately, our first-round picks aren't the best value. We got 31, which is us, and we got a pick in the 20s, which was the Bengals. Now, I did focus scout a couple players. One of them is actually right there in range with our pick. Danny Lamb, 6'4", 225. We need that Palmer replacement at wide receiver. Elite strength, 4.42 speed at 6'4", 225. Guy looks like a beast. However, you know, and I know, the first priority is if you see a generational player and you got 2 first-round picks, you at least kick the tires. And look at this guy. We do need D tackle. And we got Bart Allen out of Georgia, 6'5", 300 pounds, A power, A finesse, A tackle. Elite speed, 4.59. That's a generational player right there. Let's go see if the Saints want to do business. All right, we're kind of close. Our 2 firsts this year, and I have our second-round picks this year, next, like all of our seconds that I possibly can, and we're pretty close. The only thing that's bad is I can't throw in any players because they have no money. Look how close that is. 2 firsts. 2 seconds, a third, and a first in 2 years' time. All right, we're able to make it happen. We send both our first rounders this year, which I have no problem whatsoever giving up. We send both our second rounders this year, which honestly don't have like that. For those first 4 picks, I'm all right with. We then give up our first and second round pick next year. So we basically are giving up 2 drafts to get a generational D tackle. Not worried about it, but I think given the fact that our salary cap's been so tight, I don't know. It could come back to bite us in the ass because, hypothetically speaking, you're looking at that. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll give 1 missing there. We'll say that's, 5 starters on rookie contracts for the remainder of the rebuild that we just punted for 1 player. But you know me, I'm like a crow. I see something shiny like that, I got to go get it. I got to go get it when I get the assets. And this guy here, the reason why you make this move is that we've played well defensively, even though the rankings and stuff have been inconsistent. But I know this is a defense that can facilitate an elite player on that D-line. We saw it with Bosa. We just haven't been able to tap into that. I think Byron Allen could be the answer for us in the inside. Clearly going to have a dev trait. It's all about at this point, honestly, if he's superstar X Factor or not. Best corner, we got A-Press, A-Man. Hey, there we go. That is not exactly what we're looking for athletically, but I will take, given the fact that we've given up a lot of assets, a hit a dev corner when you can get them. We now look towards the running back room where we got your classic power back, A Burl-Career Vision, A break tackle. Combine's pretty good. These are the juicy players that are sometimes there just because our running back is in a contract year. Oh, no dev trait, though. Damn it. I think the rating will be all right here. Well, they exist every now and again. The 4-2-4, elite everything, wide receivers, almost always a lock for a dev trait, almost always a lock for a 70-plus rating. We need help at wide receiver. I don't know if he's going to be able to replace... There's no dev trait there. Look at the profile. S tier. All right, so take a look at a recap. And Byron Allen, 81, hidden dev, first overall pick, cost us the next couple drafts. You know, it is what it is. We knew what we were getting ourselves into. And I think that time will tell. Because, again, 6 picks involved. I would say confidently, maybe all 6 of those would have been starters for us down the line. At minimum 4. We have traded 4 rookie affordable starters for one guy. So he needs to single-handedly, like, transform the defense. Bates, 73 hidden dev corner in the 3rd round. We got 71 for Baker normal. Garvin, 73 normal. I think a little bit harsh that we didn't get the dev traits there. Especially Garvin. He has 49 awareness. If he had 60 awareness, like a regular amount, like he's 76, 77 overall, which is insane. So the value definitely there for Garvin, especially if we can develop that awareness a little bit. Just really surprised we did not get a dev trait in one of these 2 players. Something cool that happened right away because we have our coaching tree maxed out. When I sim from preseason to the beginning of the offseason, we unveil one of our rookie dev traits. Usually, seems pretty RNG. But looking at our squad here, I mean, wide receiver, did we do a terrific job of replacing, Palmer? Probably not, but I mean, Quentin Johnson just needs to step up. Garvin, the rookie, hey, you're going to have a hell of an opportunity, kid. Catching balls from Herbert, part of this explosive offense. But on the defensive side, I was like, all right, let's just... Hopefully, we get clearly, you're going to unveil the dev trait of the 82 generational player you got. We got our 3rd round pick corner, Pat Bates. Superstar dev. All right. That's a win. Because with that, it allows us to put the big 6'4" Takario Davis at strong safety, where we did not adequately replace Derwin James this offseason. My point, year 7 on a revenge tour, man. You lose to the Cowboys in the Super Bowl, you're pissed off, and you play pissed off. And it's a competitive division. Chiefs ain't bad. Broncos are pretty good this year, but we're 6-1. Offense, great. Defense, number 1. The only thing that doesn't look good is the fact that we only have $11 million of salary cap. I don't know who has to get paid either. Okay, wait, no, it's actually not that bad. We got $35 million. So, looking at who needs to get paid. Dicker the kicker. Actually been developed really nicely. We can't pay kickers with the salary cap where it's at. Just can't do it. Fairly, we're good. We're 2 deep at D tackle right now. Quentin Johnson has definitely carved out a solid career. 2-year deal, also not brutal. I don't hate that. He's not going to be our first priority getting paid. Rashawn Slater, we could pay him, and that would use almost all of our salary cap. We have Asante Samuel. We did just draft a superstar corner, so that gives us a little bit of wiggle room there. Not overly concerned about... I mean... I feel like we could draft a running back. We still got some picks. We can gamble that we can get a 75... One of those 74, 75, 76 hidden dev running backs that are projected to go day 3 of the next draft. Which, I'm saying they're about in the draft 70% of the time. Could replace it. I mean, Patterson has been lighting the world on fire. So, I mean, kind of looking at maybe Slater and Johnson. We keep some of the OGs in the building. There we go. 4 years for Slater. Try to lock him in for the remainder of the rebuild. And with 13 remaining, can we get Quentin Johnson on a 2-year deal? We'll go bump it up a little bit. We'll go 2-year, 18.4. There we go. That's how we're spending our money. Keeping the OGs here. Because we want to try to acquire a bunch of picks as much as we can. Fairly, our D-tackle 3. The Lions are giving us a 4th-round pick for him. Thank you very much. We need to recoup as many draft assets as we possibly can. Holy shit, out of nowhere. 16-1. Number 1 offense, number 1 defense. The 1 was our first game of the year. Week 1, we fall to the Seahawks by 4 points. In a game where, Wow, Josh Allen's there. Oh, bumping McCarthy. What the hell? 16-1. Not bad. And with this record, obviously, Harbaugh gets his first Coach of the Year award. Herbert played well, making the MVP shortlist better than he did last year. Top 5 almost. 6th in yards, just outside the top 5 in touchdowns. Not bad. I mean, he's getting older. Harder for older quarterbacks to put up like S-tier numbers. Wheatley played well from our backup running back spot. And again, Patterson set at the open market X-Factor running back, an insane amount of carries. But I do feel like as long as we can find another running back, a good running back will play like this, as we've seen with the Vidal and now Patterson. Ladd crushed it, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. Patton was solid at tight end. Quentin Johnson was solid. Garvin, the speedster, not bad, even though not a lot of long receptions for him, for how much speed he should be using as a deep threat stretching the field. But as is such, our only award winner is obviously the player that we decided we can't re-sign. Pierre Patterson wins running back of the year, as well as offensive player of the year. At the moment on everyone's mind, what does this freak Bart Allen look like? Is it worth the draft compensation that we did? I think so. 86 X factor, and might, if we go on a little bit of run, might finish as an 87, 88 with a boost. What an absolute monster he was. Got robbed a defensive rookie of the year, but he definitely made everyone else better on the defense. 16 sacks, 2 at Pelotu, 15 for Ethan Burke, 8 from Bart Allen. So he's commanding double, triple teams. Everyone knows this is a generational player. So it's elevating the edge rushers, which we have under contract for a couple more seasons. So that's good. I'm expecting Tua Pelotu potentially to bump up to an X Factor, and Burke potentially to bump up to a superstar off of these seasons. Oh, there's no way the 16-1 team loses to the below 500 team. There's no way. That doesn't happen in Madden. The reverse jinx. Tennessee tied. That's even weirder. But we handle the Ravens 35-14 in our path to try to get back to Super Bowl. And Patterson with a... fuck. He's always making it impossible to let him go. All right, we got the 10-6-1 Titans, who do have a top 5 offense. Everything else a little bit middle of the mall. I'd like to think our 96 offense can put points on them. And it was modest, but we get to go back to back as the rookie Bart Allen, 2 sacks, gets Defensive Player of the Week in the championship game, setting up a rematch of last year's Super Bowl. Chargers, Cowboys, let's go. We can't lose. We cannot lose. We can't lose back-to-back. I'll end the rebuild. I'll end it right now. We'll cut it 3 years short if we lose again. I will cut it. They're home. A home Super. Oh, we can't lose. We absolutely can't lose this one, fellas. Come on. There's more to play for than just our second Super Bowl. This is important. We're going to come in on 4th and 5 here. Our offense is struggling. Number 1 offense, number 1 defense. Struggling. Not shockingly. Like, again, this is probably another situation. Probably just should have simmed it. But, this is what we do. Boom. We're going to go right in the middle of Patton, who's going to move the chains on 4th down. Only 66 yards passing for Justin Herbert in the first half. So it's the Dallas Cowboy defense, which has been a pain in the ass. But the Chargers finish that drive off with a touchdown. It's just our number 1 defense just doesn't feel like playing a lot of defense. But we do get it 2 quick scores before the end of the first half. Dallas able to kick a field goal, get some points. But we are moseying our way down the field. We're going to cash in our second opportunity to hop in here, because I think you go up 28-13. Oh, they put their best on best, though, with Ladd McConkey in the slot. We're going to go for him anyway. Right there, quickly, before he even gets out of his break. Holds on, getting smashed into the end zone. And that is a touchdown for the good guys. Defense, methodical, gives up a field goal, but makes them chew up a lot of time. We're going down the field. We punch it in 35-23, and that should do it. We avoid losing back-to-back Super Bowls. Rare you get a Super Bowl rematch, but the Chargers do it. We beat the Cowboys in Jerry World. 3-0 playoff run. Super Bowl win versus Dallas. And that's number 2. Takes 3 Super Bowls to go down as a dynasty. And, well, we got 3 years remaining to try to win that 3rd one. But a hell of a year. I mean, likely we're not going to be able to re-sign this juggernaut, LaDainian Tomlinson type running back. Even though now I kind of want to. He's right up there on the stage. So, if this is our final year of an S-tier running back, we're able to cap it off. We're able to not let that go to waste. And Herbert's able to hoist his 2nd Super Bowl right there. We're not going to gloat too much. We've been here. Act like we've been here. Herbert, give him the MVP. An insane 5-touchdown performance. Thing of beauty. beating Dallas in Dallas. Oh, it's awesome. Now, as shown by our $4 million of cap, we won't be able to re-sign Pierre Patterson. Let's respect the ridiculous pace he has set through his 4 seasons here. 4,400 yards, 59 touchdowns. Would have been cool to have him the whole way, to be honest with you. That sucks. We have no money. Had to at least see where he's going. At least it's not in the AFC. Pierre Patterson, I'm sure we'll see you in the Super Bowl again with you trying to crush us for Green Bay. But, I mean, one hell. That's probably the best running back we've ever drafted. So, bad news, we need a lot of things, and we don't get to pick till 32 of the 3rd round. I'll tell you right now, running backs, I don't think there's not one of those guys this year. Here we go, the best player on our board. I scouted 3 guards, 2 left guards and a right guard. The both left guards are gone. Luckily, Hunter Mills still on the board. B run block, at worst, B pass block, combine, elite jumping, change of direction, great agility, good acceleration. Looks really good. We need a day 1 start at right guard. And we at least get one here in the 3rd round. Great value. It might not be much. Hidden dev kicker late. Let's go. And to kind of wrap up year 7 with a draft, the draft that we're going to feel the most from trading up to get a generous play. Hey, you know, not brutal. At the end of the day, 68 hidden dev kicker. We got a 70 punter. Need to retool the special teams. Did that. And we got a hidden dev guard that could start for us in the 3rd round. Unfortunately, though, we needed a safety. Couldn't find one. We needed a running back. Really couldn't find one. So let's really put the test this year that doesn't matter who the running back is for the Chargers. They're going to put up a big-time year. We're about to see, because our running back's like a 75 normal, trying to replace a 99 X Factor. All right, we're here at the beginning of year 8, and this is probably the longest I've ever gone between one video, as it's been a week since I've last even touched this rebuild. Had the flu, strep throat, yada, yada, yada. And it's Saturday, a week from the last time I was... This is supposed to be out last Saturday, and I'm finished. We got 3 years remaining for our 90 overall squad. We're coming off the backs of a 16-1 season, a Super Bowl win against the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry World. But we're at that point in time in the rebuild where we can't afford to keep everybody. So there's, you know, you would figure 16-1 come off a Super Bowl win. You're going to lose something, but you're going to be a super team. And we're really good. But we have a lot of guys that need to step up. We have a right guard, rookie right guard, that needs to step up and make plays. Our running back room, big-time question marks, especially given the fact that our last running back was an absolute phenom. Quentin Johnson needs to step up. He's an old man at this point. He's 29 years old, starting to regress. We do have, obviously, McConkey. He's one of the best wide receivers in the league. And we have Garvin, who's probably the biggest freak wide receiver in the league today. 6'1", 180, 99 speed, 97 acceleration, 99 agility, 95 jumping, 87 spec catch, 96 change of direction, 95 kick return, an absolute monster stat-wise. I'd love to see him have a little bit of a breakup because the ceiling would be sky high there. On the defense, feel real good. We had to get a little creative in the secondary. We have Hayward, the big 6'5 corner. He's going to start at the slot. I moved Bates, who was a corner, to the strong safety position where we have a gap. Colson and Smith here at linebacker feel real good about the D-line. Allen, generational talent, 2 below 2 has been awesome, heating up. Burke is a 90 overall pass rusher. Like, this is where we are going to dominate, is going to be with the big hogs up front. Let's see if we can get back and repeat as Super Bowl champions, make it 3 Super Bowls in a row. Not bad at the midway point, 4-2, sitting atop the AFC West. Offensively, don't look at how it's made because the passing and rushing ain't great, but it's still top 10. Defense is top 10 as well. Coming over a 21-6 victory over the Broncos with a Herbert Player of the Week performance, which we need a lot more of those to kind of right the ship offensively with those rankings. We are backs against the wall when it comes to contract negotiations here. $17 million. So that means Zion, we're going to need a new guard. I feel like he could develop still. There's a lot coming for the remainder of the rebuild. That's really reasonable. I can see his ceiling being in the 80s. We have Zach Bingham at safety, who's solid. We have James Patton at tight end, who's also been solid. But I think we have figured out in this rebuild that running backs and tight ends just produce. As long as they're a half-decent talent, they're going to step up. So I think while the budgets are tight, don't necessarily have to pay that. Hazleton is a beast, superstar, but I think we run a lot of front 3, and he's just, you know, D-tackle 2 on a front 3. I mean, he's a guy that, like, if the stats can justify it, he's just stuck. Since we've brought in the X Factor D-tackle, his plays kind of fell off a little bit. So I would say in terms of priority, I think we go Bingham at safety. We'll round it up a little bit. And, you know, these other guys are either replaceable or they aren't producing enough when we have to make tough decisions. So I feel like we go with the guy that's clear-cut the most impactful player right now. All right. Well, at least we got our C4 strep throat flu season out of the way here. First year back. We don't even make the playoffs. 16-1 last year. Super Bowl champions, and now we are 8-9. And I guess we felt the loss of our running back a lot more than I would have expected and anticipated. Damn. We didn't have a single award winner, which is not surprising because we did not have a particularly good... I mean, that's still pretty good. That's a special season. 26 touchdowns, no picks for Justin Herbert. 4,000 yards. We got 1,013 from the running back that had to step up. Again, that's kind of fitting into the... You know, put a decent running back. Like, he was 78, right? Not 78 normal, nothing special. But that's solid. Those are solid numbers. Like, I would not say that's a liability run the football. 1,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, not a bad year. Ladd goes over 1,010. 9-5 for Johnson, 8-3 for Garvin, 7-2 for James Patton. Just not nearly explosive enough. I mean, you look at those yards per catch, not great. No one really had any long touchdowns. Defensively, fell flat. Colson had a bunch of tackles. Tui Pelotu had a lot of sacks. Ethan Burke was solid. Not the numbers, especially Bart Allen as an X Factor. That could lose his X Factor. I wouldn't be shocked if he regresses down to a superstar. Hazelton had a decent year. Surprised that he got outperformed. Interceptions were pretty non-existent, especially for how talented our secondary is. Bingham, luckily, led the team. We got him a shiny new contract, so that's aging well. Oh, it's bad. It is bad. Justin Herbert. I mean, you know what? I'm going to make the argument 26 touchdowns, no picks shouldn't have you drop off dev trait. That's a really good season. That's a remarkable season. But I think the fact that he didn't pop off and he's at that age where you got to start losing stuff. I mean, look at that. One throw power gone, mid, short accuracy. Brutal. Very, very harsh on our quarterback as we, unfortunately, limp into the final 2 years of this rebuild. Massive regression on Johnson. There's 4 points gone on Quentin Johnson. So we are absolutely looking at where this team needs to improve this season. I mean, Zion Johnson, we're going to need to get a guard. I'd like to think we probably get that guard second round, third round. We're going to need a wide receiver, maybe sooner than later. We have no money to improve the team in free agency. Allen, luckily, did not lose his dev trade, and Hazelton, who we decided not to re-sign, lost his dev trade, maybe unfortunately. Tui Pelotu up to a superstar X Factor, which is badass. So, yeah, I mean, defense looks solid. We're going to need some replacements for sure. D-tackle, guard, wide receiver. I'll throw running back potentially into the mix. Hopefully it's a strong draft class. We can sniff out the studs. So to kick off the offseason, we did have a little influx of salary cap, about $25 million. We need guard. We need wide receiver. We really need tight end. And debatably, we really need D-tackle. And at least we're able to find someone that can come in and play guard. We have Kelvin Fisher, was a tackle, but at 6'5", 305, clearly a kind of build that can kick inside. 78-25 with a start dev trait. That means we can shift all of our focus to some skill position spots on offense in the draft and or best D-tackle available. All right, so we got pick 12 of the first round, which also is pretty good because we know we're going to have a high pick in the second round. And we have some good options. We have Rashad Green, if we want to look at wide receiver. A deep route running is all we have in terms of scouting. But he ran the 4.26, has elite acceleration and elite speed. So it's safe to say that he's kind of in pole position right now for this pick 12. Did a little bit of deep dive in the tight end. The two best ones that I actually additionally scouted, we have Justin Taylor and Nate Cherry. Nate Cherry, a little bit undersized, kind of a weird build, but he had A catching, B deep route running, has elite strength, athletically not bad as well. We have Justin Taylor, a little bit more of a receiver, A catching traffic, and athletically speaking, the elite agility, great acceleration, great speed. I think either one of those options, totally viable in the second round, not here at pick 12. Defensive line, D-tackle, you know, some guys. No one necessarily stepped up, and I will say, like, look, you see all the B's, some A's in here. Of course, the one I scouted popped with the A to C range. They're all C's. In Earl Noble, 6'6", 310. Has a terrific combine, though. We'll need to say that. 41 reps. But again, these are guys that, you know, if they're in there in the second round, we will be interested. But as it stands right now, I mean, there's a lot of talented D-tackle that I think we could sit and wait. So I think we've pretty much talked ourselves into the elite speed, A deep route running, wide receiver out of LSU, Rashad Green, welcome to the team. I think there's still a lot of depth at D tackle. I think we draft Justin Taylor and maybe see if there's a way we could be aggressive to trade back up into the second round and grab whatever is the best defensive tackle available. But we'll go with the slightly better athlete, the A-catching, high percentage that he was going to be at least a dev trait player, which he is. And hopefully the base rating's not too brutal that he can be a day one rookie starter for us at tight end. My board's kind of shot after the D tackle run here, so I pretty much just there you go. The rest of our decent picks in this draft to trade back up in the second round. Only bummer is the Eagles drafted Noble. Not great letter grades, but a big-time athlete at D-tackle, which I would have loved. But we have a D-tackle falling here in Brett Allison. We have Vasher and Reese all look legit. Let's see if we can kind of pick out the best. Allison, B finesse move. Not bad at 310 pounds. Combine also really good. We've got to wonder why he's falling. We have Max Vasher, who is also A finesse move, B tackle, elite speed for the position. And what is he? 6'3", 305, all right. Or we have Jamie Reese, another A finesse move, B tackle, 285 for Reese. Elite speed and jumping. Ooh. You know me, I got to type on the D. Oh, man. You know what? We've got enough of these undersized D tackle that have been like X Factors and superstars that we're probably due for a normal dev or two. So look at our draft class. Oh, those are some home runs. Even Reese, 72 normal, not brutal. I think given the fact that we did trade back, we gave up third, fourth round picks, a couple fourth round picks. Would have loved it to be a dev trait for sure, but not a bad pick. And when you get the first two, 77 hidden dev, day one starter, 77 hidden dev, probably will start over Quentin Johnson, who's just regressing at this point. He can just be the role player of the team. Very happy with these picks. I do need to also say, generational talent here going in the first round. Look at this guy, Aries Ford out of Syracuse. I'll give him credit. I'll throw the boost in there. 88 hidden dev, rookie corner, 96 speed, 95 acceleration. He has 93 catching. You already know it's going to be an X factor. What is this guy? What a machine. That is one of the best corners I've ever seen in a rookie class. Congrats to the Browns. There's your Denzel Ward successor. The guys are absolutely responding here. 8-9 last year, nothing season. Come back 6-0 undefeated. That's how you want to start. And yes, we started this draft. It almost feels like coming out of that draft. We were glazing that corner as like that was the guy, right? We fell in love. Even though he wasn't our team, we fell in love. You know what, though? Huh? Look at that for a rookie. Huh? Look at that. Very surprised. He had no, wasn't an elite strength by any mean type tight end, which is obviously not automatic. But my expectation was just startup. Like he was going to be a nice, solid, at the end of his rookie campaign, 80 star. Now he's already halfway through the year at 80 X Factor. That is insane. Still waiting on the dev trait on Green. We got Galindo there with a dev trait. Defensively, playing real well. Happy where the team's at right now. Bounce back in year 9. Look at the contracts, $58 million. Quentin Johnson, it's going to be the end of his time here. We'll look at his stats at the end, obviously, as important player. Wheatley, I think the revolving door of no-name running backs continues for us because we got to pay the important pieces. We got Joe Alt, who needs to get paid. Oh my God, that's a lot of money. Trevor Jenkins needs to get paid. Brandon Smith needs to get. I think Ladd's the most important. I think it's very safe to say Ladd is. I don't know. Maybe he's the most important. He's most important to me. I'd like to keep Joe. There's just no way. Fuck. Yeah. There's no way. None of these. Whoa. Okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep the superstar linebacker. But Joe Alt, the journey ends. Almost goes to full 10. He goes 9 years of the rebuild. What a pick. Hell of a pick for the first pick of this Harbaugh era in LA. What? 16-1. Dude, and the one was a 7-point loss week 17. We were 16-0 going into week 17, and we played our star. Let's Just reinvent. Let's imagine we rest our starters. We did the professional thing, and focus and protect the team for the playoffs over a perfect season. Herbert's just back to playing at an MVP level a year after regressing down to a star dev because of a bad season. I don't want to say it's a bad season again. 26 touchdowns, no picks, but regressing. I'm just gonna be MVP again. No worries. Harbaugh gets his second Coach of the Year award. We got Herbert Offensive Player of the Year. Harvey Wheatley, the no-name running back, interchangeable running back, runner-up, Offensive Player of the Year. Rashad Green, the speedster, Rookie of the Year, which you'll love to see. Herbert, Quarterback of the Year. Wheatley, Running Back of the Year, which you love to see. Everyone is playing better. No one really stand out on the defensive side of the ball. Second best kicker in the league. You believe that. Look at the stats. I mean, insane from Herbert. 4,200 yards, 33 touchdowns. He has one interception in the last 2 seasons. Absolutely absurd. Harvey Wheatley, 1,200 yards, 18 touchdowns. Even Herbert left 5 and 6 on the ground, doing it himself. Lad McConkey, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. 9 and 7 for Garvin, 8 and 6 for Green. Not bad there from Taylor as well, but you just see the tight ends and running backs are very interchangeable in this offense. Colson, 100-plus tackles. We got 14 sacks, 17 TFLs for Tui Pelotu, 10.5 sacks for Barrett Allen, 8.5 from Burke. All numbers that you love to see. Interceptions could be a little better. All right, we've never seen this upset happen. 16-1 versus a below 500 team in the playoffs. The reverse jinx works as we handle business. 24-16, set up a divisional matchup against the Bills, who are also, how are they in the playoffs? 30th offense, 22nd defense. This should be a cakewalk to the AFC Championship game, which it is. Set up a matchup there against the Titans, coming off a Player of the Week performance. Ethan Burke, 7 tackles, 3 sacks. Hell yeah. What? 17, perfect season. We were a win away from having 2 17-0 undefeated teams play. They got Jaden. Why do they have? What is this quarterback room? Jaden Daniels, decent running back, decent receiver room. They got Brock Bowers, who's an absolute beast. The offensive line, very good. Holy shit. Defensively, they got Jack Sawyer, 96, Zane Durant, 90, Scorden, 88. Decent linebackers outside of that secondary. You got this guy, Demary Sandals, 6'2", X Factor. Good God. All right, that's a good team. I honestly think we got to at least hop in and play the moments of this one. Guys, see this one breakdown. That is insane. This is, in all of my rebuilds, maybe I've ever done, the best championship game ever. It's never been. Maybe it's happened before. I do not. I would remember it. I feel like it would stand out. So we have 17-0 Tennessee, 16-1 Chargers. Oof. Not the best start here from the fellas. We do get a touchdown to go into the second half with a little bit of momentum, and then we drive it downfield. Touchdown for the good guys. So I'll tell you what, Tennessee does not have the playoff mentality that we have. I think if we score here, it gets tight in the fourth, we have the experience that should be able to see this one out. Look at that. We hold to a field goal. Minute 40. This is where we go down and prove our worth. Fourth down. I'll help them once. And I will say, if I cash in here, which I'm going to, and we go on and make the Super Bowl, I will not be able to hop in because we need one more Super Bowl win to get this check mark as a dynasty. So this will spoil any potential call-ins. Look at that. What a ball! Timeout. Timeout. You go to your 99 X Factor when you need to try and ruin a perfect season. Punch this one in. Touchdown. 40 seconds to... That got a little close. But it is now in the hands of the team and the sim as we go back to the Super Bowl here in year 9, looking for dynasty status. And the Super Bowl sets it up. I'm not going to say it's a little bit of a disappointment because of how intense an all-time classic the AFC Championship game is, but Drake May and the Atlanta Falcons crushed it. 42 touchdowns, 4 picks. One of the best offenses. I do think, obviously, clear advantage is going to be our offense against their defense. But you have arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL going head-to-head, which usually is a great recipe for an all-time Super Bowl. Now we got dynasty status on the line, an opportunity for our 3rd Super Bowl. We will see. I mean, you would like to think that if you could beat the undefeated team, that's not going to be when your team peaks, and you're going to be able to see it through. And I think after 2 16-1 seasons in a 3-year period, I'd like to think this Charger team can reach that dynasty stats, but we got our work cut out for us here in the second half. Started the second half with a touchdown, 2-point conversion, tied up at 14. But I got to be honest, this all-time shit Super Bowl caliber featuring defense that Atlanta has, like bottom 3, what was that? Bottom 3 defense in the league. Doing a pretty good job. But look at this. Come on, baby. Here's what we're going to do. I'm not going to play it because we can't play. But what I do want to get, and we're getting this tight, is let's watch it live. First and goal. First play. It's all we need. Oh, what? They overturned it. We go to him again for a 1-yarder. Come on, defense. Just got to play. I don't want to say don't even play prevent. Play your defense. 29 yards. It's the trick bang. Oh, no. And then what's this bullshit? 13-yard penalty. Oh, my God, no. You gotta give me one. You gotta let me do this. You just gotta. Especially when I got 99 speed. 99 jumping. Garvin. I'm gonna close my eyes. Watch this. I'm gonna snap it, then close my eyes. God, I couldn't even. I mean, fuck, man. Now, it's not good news. It just creates another problem. But Rashawn Slater retires after 12 years, which has given us a considerable amount of salary cap, which I think we're going to be able to at least kind of, now we can pay Joe Alt. So we're not losing both of our tackles in one offseason. We're also going to acknowledge, as it is his final year here in LA, the career turnaround of Quentin Johnson. From bust to almost 550 catches, 7,500 yards, 50 touchdowns. Had a nice career for himself as a decent wide receiver, too. All right, so we gave Joe Alt what he wanted, a 3-year, $104 million deal, and he says he's not interested in signing, so congratulations. You're playing on the tag, which is honestly it's just $5 million more than what I would have paid him anyways. Because we are going into the final year, and we're at that, I wouldn't say it's fair to say stage of desperation, but we are very much at that point where, we're chasing a dynasty status. I think with players that we can, and there's been none so far, which is fan-freaking-tastic, we try to restructure. I literally don't have any of my expensive players that I've got paid I can restructure. Maybe Colson? You come on. Come on, man. Give me a couple bucks. Holy shit. Did I pay everybody? Okay, I definitely going to be able to get Brandon Smith because we just paid him. So we'll get another $3 million. My point is hopefully we can get like a running back or a center or like a lineman that we can move into center because I don't want to have to hit on a bunch of rookies that could help get this team over the hump to win that Super Bowl. So we're going to get a decent amount of salary cap here, so that we might be able to get a guy or two, a starter or two in free agency. So this offseason, we need a starting center, a starting right tackle, and a starting running back. And the center and tackle, we brought back and re-signed Trevor Jenkins, our existing starting center. Was reasonable money, $25.87, the highest rated center available. We got Wilkins, who's just a serviceable plug and play, shouldn't be an issue at right tackle, 80 overall player. I did focus scout running backs for the draft class, and we got something. As long as we can find a trade partner. So, yeah. Tyree Ulrich. Wish there was an A. Would be cool. But the reason why he's a top 5 true talent is elite speed. Elite speed, the 3-cone, the 20-yard shuttle, I'm surprised he doesn't have elite acceleration, elite agility. Yeah. Want this guy. However, he's projected to go at pick 10. So we're gonna make a call. We're gonna pull a Ricky Williams. We're gonna pull a Mike Ditka, Ricky Williams. I will trade my entire draft class to the Broncos for pick 9. You know what? Honestly, I'll just ask them what they want. It doesn't matter. These picks don't matter to me whatsoever. So we just did what it takes, and just ignore the fact that we traded a bunch of first-round picks for a running back. It's not too often you get this role where you have a clear position of need late enough in the rebuild where, you know, we're not going to have time to develop. It's not like we can get a guy that's like, even if he's, let's just say, like hypothetically, this guy was an X factor, but his base rating was low. 72, 73. We're not going to have enough time. He has 1 year as a starter to make an impact for this team. But the fact that he's top 5 in talent, I wouldn't even care that if he's a star dev. Because the fact that he's talent, that's, I don't want to say usually, I'm pretty sure it's exclusively based off of the rating. He's got to be at least 78, 77, 78, somewhere in that range at worst. Tyree Ulrich, damn good looking running back. That is as fast as I've seen a running back out of Wisconsin. Guess the rating though. Could it be in the 80s? I'm gonna say 78. 82! I mean, last year, ended up getting, I mean, it was a second round pick. We needed a tight end, got an X Factor tight end. This year, feel a little different because it was such an aggressive trade and we fully scouted. It was less of a mystery, but Ulrich, 82. I imagine he's probably the best player in the draft class. 99 juke move, 96 speed, 92 acceleration, 92 agility, 71 catching. In terms of hype, in terms of like true talent, this is like our LT, LaDainian Tomlinson type pick. Look, ooh, love to see. Look at that. It's a Marcus House situation if I've ever seen one. Raheem Allen, shout out to you. So here we go. Led by the 3-time NFL MVP, surefire Hall of Famer, 2-time Super Bowl champion, looking to make it 3-time Dynasty Super Bowl champion, Justin Herbert. E-Bear. I mean, he's still a beast, still a baller. I thought he lost it. I thought year 9 when we went 8-9 below 500, he lost his dev traits. We lost it, but we're right back. Ulrich, we used our coachability to unveil a dev trait superstar. Not a generational talent, pretty damn close. Green, last year's first-round pick, got the superstar dev. Taylor, X Factor, the O-line, all here together. That's all homegrown for the most part. Led by Joe Alt, 96 star dev. Ladd McConkey has been sensational in this rebuild. I can't wait to see where his stats are at. You know what? Hey, you've done enough. Congrats. Welcome to being a team captain. But really, the Herbert, look, I don't think he's had a year under 1,000 yards. The consistency from McConkey has been badass. And because of some of the huge numbers our running backs have had here, we've had some insane numbers. Some of the best sim running back numbers we've ever seen. I think a rookie this good, I'm really intrigued what kind of year he's going to have. I think easy front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. On the defensive side, what a developmental story Tui Pelotu has been. You know, kind of was miscast outside linebacker. We had all that depth with Khalil Mack and Bosa on the D-line. And then, you know, now he's just aging like a fine wine. X Factor 95, Allen X Factor out the gate. Burke's been solid. Colson making the full rebuild, but a tackle machine with Smith. We got Bates and Bingham. We got Will Johnson making the full rebuild. 9-9 Tacario Davis. Remember that second draft class, big 6'4 corner out of Arizona. He's been awesome as well. We got the 6'5 slot. A lot of size, a lot of length, a lot of playmaking ability. And this team, come on, one more year to try to achieve dynasty status. And I think this is a good enough team to put and etch their names on the list of those teams we've been able to turn into dynasties. And we close of the season impressively, 13-4, good record, but no AFC West title as that belongs to the Raiders on some sort of tiebreaker. So we end up as only 5-time AFC West champs in this tenure, which is honestly a little bit on the lower side from, you know, some of our other rebuild numbers. Maybe surprisingly, we only have the one award winner, clearly. It was automatic as soon as we drafted him. Tyree Ulrich, Offensive Rookie of the Year, which means if we go on and win a Super Bowl, he likely will be an X Factor for that game. Look at the numbers. Old man Herbert. I mean, you know, the big high end of yards and touchdowns hasn't quite been there, but you know what? The touchdown to interception ratio the last 3 years has been incredibly impressive. Honestly, those are disappointing numbers. I thought he'd have a much better season. Damn it. I mean, everyone else had a good job. Ladd's been as consistent as ever defensively. Colson, tackle machine. 12.5 sacks from Burke. 13.5 from Tui Pelotu. 7.5 from Bart Allen. But it needs to be said, as an X-Factor D-tackle, never really played as such. You know, this was a guy that we traded a lot of assets to go get, to be like a generational Aaron Donald impact. Fact of the matter is, hasn't been that. Shout out Will Johnson leading the team picks. Before we go on this playoff run, let's look at the career stats, what we've been able to accomplish before this rebuild and this 10 years encompassing it. Justin Herbert, 60,000 yards passing, 429 touchdowns, 82 picks, 3 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, hopefully soon to be 3. Assume Herbert would be 11th on this list, just missing out on the top 10 as far as passing yards are concerned. But look at that. Makes the touchdowns with 429. Congratulations. Also, former player, Kamani Vidal. I love seeing that. He's both for yards and touchdowns. Not bad for what, a 5th, 6th round pick back when we started this rebuild. And you know what? On top of all the pass numbers, do need to give credit for Herbert for the rushing numbers. 5,000 yards rushing and another 41 touchdowns for the first ballot Hall of Famer. Ladd McConkey has crushed in this rebuild, almost 850 catches, almost 13,000 yards, and 116 touchdowns, just off of the cutoff list as well for some of those big-time receivers. So he has been absolutely incredible. On the defensive side of the ball, the tackle machine known as Junior Colson, following Harbaugh from the national champions, the Michigan Wolverines, to the pros, and not a single drop-off. Absolute beast. 46 TFLs, 8 picks to his name. We got 121 sacks, 149 TFLs for Tui Pelotu on almost 700 tackles. What a beast. Another guy, beast. Ethan Burke started his career as a role player, didn't really know where he's going to fit, emerged as a starter, finishes his rebuild, 118 TFLs, 78 sacks. Love seeing that. Only 30 for Barrett Allen. We got 18 picks from Will Johnson, 8 and 8 from Davis and Colson. And again, at this point, I always interject. You guys know a good playbook for getting big-time interception numbers? Maybe Dallas, if I had to guess. But because of the Raiders, we have to go the long way here. We got to start in the wild card round. We have the 98 Pittsburgh Steelers, who are solid. I mean, anything can happen. I like to think we could beat them better than that. Very, very slim victory, 13-10, and putting us in the division round against the 11-6 Jags. Pretty solid. 6 offense, 8 defense. More impressed by their team overall, almost a 90. Ooh, shootout. When you need him the most. When you need him the most, old man Herbert. Look at that, Ruben Bain. 5 sacks, setting up a very, very interesting championship to find who the best team is right now in the AFC West. And looking at this matchup, tail of the tape, it is the #1 defense by the Chargers against the #2 defense in the Raiders. You look at the offense, they have the #2 rushing offense, everything else kind of mid. We have a top 5 passing offense, everything else kind of mid. I mean, we can't... It's annoying that we can't complete the dynasty, but you can't be too mad because that is a really good team that we just lost to. Damn it! Well, we tried. This rebuild that took me 2 weeks to record. We tried! And unfortunately, we built a super team. We did. We built a team more than capable enough to achieve dynasty status. And, yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. I will say a big thing, big turning point potentially, is we gave up a lot of assets to draft Barrett Allen. Put the team back. We said when we drafted him, right? Well, I don't know what it was. We hypothetically just said, essentially, we gave up 4 or 5 swings at starter and caliber players, which could have been superstar depths, could have been X factors. But we knew that this guy was generational. We gave all those guys up to go get him. And he was generational. X factor at the gate. Big time numbers, big time attributes. And he just never became anything better than like an okay starter. And I think that was absolutely a turning point. Because if we kept all those picks, right? These years that the salary cap was tight, we had to let guys walk. If I was able to properly draft their replacements and hit on these guys, first round picks, second round picks, if I could do it all over again, I would go back to that point. I would rewind back to that point and not make that trade. Let him go somewhere else, maybe a better scheme, better system, and maybe we'd have a more prolific wide receiver too. Have 2,000-yard type receivers, which he never really had. But I'm still proud of this rebuild. Still really happy with it. Herbert was an absolute god. And I think when all is said and done, it's still a very successful rebuild, even though we did not achieve the dynasty status. So with that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. Please let me know in the comment section below which team you want to see rebuilt next. If it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out. Love ya. Have a good one.